Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another match of the CYC Cup turn. We are back for yet another match in the semifinals, and right now, as it stands, we've got yet another match. I think this is one over in the losers bracket, but we have none other than yeIo up against Znow, Seed 8 against Seed 5. I'm going to be your commentary epic man, too, and this time joining me is going to be none other than Alice. How's it going?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know me already. I have not been here last week, I do believe, but we're coming back into a pretty interesting match. yeIo versus Znow. Sort of like LN hybrids versus Rice, but recently yeIo has been gaining at tons killing LN. So we'll see if that will translate into this match, and can yeIo beat Znow in some of the LN picks.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely feel like that's going to be one of the main precedents to set within this matchup alone, because I know for a fact that both Znow and yeIo are definitely going to juke it out heavily over on the Rice category, whereas I know for a fact that Znow is very capable when it comes to these LNs. Not as hybrids should definitely be within his favor as well. As for yeIo, still pretty good on the LNs and hybrids as well, albeit not to the kind of same level that Znow is. So this is kind of like what I would have been thinking about first thing going into this matchup in particular.
Yeah, for sure. And Znow hopping in with the protect of LN cord. So already starting off with that kind of pick that sort of murders yeIo in this case, I would argue. And yeIo with the protect of the Jack pick. Interesting stuff considering Znow. Actually, never mind. I backtracked my sentence. I wanted to say he did pretty good in Jack House, but I remembered Man was playing everything.
I mean, well, yeah. I think the thing is that, like, you know, for something like Jack House in particular, there's literally, like, what? Everyone in their moms that's, like, just good at core Jack, just playing. I mean, what? You have, like, Eliminated in there, you have Geeks in there, and then, you know, Znow and yeIo, pretty much in this matchup alone, pretty much would be expecting that they would feel very comfortable when it comes to the Rice category alone, but that's also the main worry that I have for them. It's just the fact that Rice at this point is not really advantageous for either one of them, and if anything, it's going to have to come down to who overall has like the better physicality cap and generally accuracy, as well as EX2 is going to be the first pick of many. Okay, sure.
Yeah. And I wonder what will happen here. I mean, we're already going into a pretty difficult pick, all things considered, as this is +1. I don't know about this one, to be honest. It is pretty physical, so I feel like yeIo might have a chance on you know, just straight up winning sort of by the physicality buff more than anything.
Yeah. I feel like, considering this is Znow's pick, I believe, I could definitely see where he's kind of going for with this pick alone, because yes, this is the harder LN pick, and by default, he knows that there is some room to exploit yeIo when it comes to LNs overall, which definitely opens up an opportunity for this pick in particular for how it addresses a lot of these LN patterns, because again, this is 5 minutes and 2 seconds just above that margin we're talking about here. This is no slouch whatsoever when it comes to the map itself, and it's literally going to go right into the main meat of the meal here as it stands.
Yeah. I just want to point out, right, this EX pick is 5 minutes long. It has a TV song and it's 7.72 stars. If anyone wasn't really familiar with the pool, I would say it's tiebreaker, but yeIo gaining the first break, and Znow, even though Lauren in accuracy, I think for the most part early, still combo gaming wins here. 3,300 points of difference, but the miss is pretty early, as it did happen in first quarter. So can yeIo recover, or will Znow miss? Because I do believe yeIo has the accuracy right now that if Znow misses, they might be able to take over.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like it's pretty much well in Znow's favor now, going off that early drop from yeIo. Pretty much the one thing he was banking on, and a number to add to that as well. 5,000 pushing 6,000 points in favor of Znow going into the second half of this first drop. And yeIo seems to be struggling shot after shot on this one with a lot of these patterns.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty brutal, as we're seeing Znow I mean, to be fair though, I was in voice chat with him right before the match. He was playing TB style maps. He was playing tiebreakers. I do believe that sort of probably translated into him right now popping off on this pick. yeIo doing a little bit worse, but nonetheless the score is pretty good still. It's 12,000 points difference, and we're still not even halfway into the map, so anything could change realistically. These patterns are, you can be pretty prone to, you know, breaking on this, or even in some parts, I would argue this is very column lockable. So if Znow catches an unlucky column lock, that might be it, but yeIo misses again, right as I say this.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much in throughout. Yeah, okay. Sorry, my English is not Englishing right now, but both players pretty much passed the main meet at the first course. Pretty much at this point, Znow is taking it by about 15,000 points for the time being. And to your point, Alice, with earlier on about how this one is very prone for either player to no luck on this, it pretty much comes from a lot of how technical these patterns really are addressed within this one, because as you can see, there's a lot of flam motions that you really get from, you know, the way that the majority of these LNs really are handled, and that's exactly what Znow is banking on. Like, maybe the TB grind or the TB size grind was basically to warm up for this pick, to really set some kind of bold impression going to this matchup, because again, this is a very, very tight matchup when it comes to Rice alone. So this is exactly what he would have needed to bank on when it comes to going outside that category, to be able to try and make points of his own and make do with what he will here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, looking at this for now, this match is still, in my opinion, very unpredictable. I do believe that right now we are seeing a little bit of a crazy turn here, because I was actually sort of going more towards the part that this pick will be sort of even. Maybe not 21,000 points of difference for Znow, you know, of difference. But no, it turns out not, so yeIo would most likely need to clutch up an LN pick or two here. And right now, as I'm seeing, sort of the error bar too, which is sort of a little bit more inconsistent on the, I guess, layered plant release. That just makes me believe that this might be a pretty tough match for yeIo as we're starting. yeIo would have to not lose a single Rice pick here.
Yeah, indeed. Pretty much when it comes to the Rice alone with this matchup, I mean, I think this pick is pretty much all said and done at this point, going into the final 8th. I mean, the final 70k-ish, 1,000 points or so, where there is no map or difficulty left. Like, it's all gone. You've been through enough of the core. Jackson Znow is going to be punching his ticket through this pick alone, 20,000 points to boot, and is that a full combo I see? Just to start this match off? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, bro just really wants to be Anthony this round, because this is basically a TB style map and that guy can't see anything.
Lol.
Yeah, no, absolutely crazy score in this. I think this might be podium. I don't think there would be a person. I guess there's like one contender here that could potentially beat this score. A huge difference, although yeIo with a better ratio, which makes me think maybe he focused on his accuracy a little bit too much and instead was breaking a lot of combo.
Yeah, I mean, with Bismuth alone as a map, in principle, there is a lot of patterns that are really hard, especially with this one being more on the physical side of the LN pool, while this is pretty much, you know, one of the harder picks in the entire map pool. So expected that yeIo would have struggled a little bit with this one, and I even a little bit is just underselling it. While we will move right into Rice 2 right away. Roar the Jungle Dragon, pretty much very expected counter pick from yeIo, because they want to be able to try and get some of their comfort picks out of the way. It was Znow's turn initially with the comfort picks, and now yeIo gonna take on the helm of that to see whether they can snag a point of their own, because this is also, I mean, this is really sure as a map, but it's going to be a lot more conventional, pretty much. No enchant.
Yeah, and also W Song. I love the Yaren boss fight. Absolutely
True.
amazing boss fight. Although on Infernum, it is pretty tough. Actually, you know what? I backtrack my statement. I would rather do Yaren all day than Devourer of Gods. So
Exactly. I mean, like, half the boss battles in, Calamity are just kind of aids to play, unless you're, like, really good at games. But the likelihood of that is, like, you know, is it really that common these days?
I don't know, man. Infernum, especially when you play on Master mode, because they did release the patch that lets you play now. It actually, it's way too hard. The OG does like 1,100 damage per head rank. Pretty much unbeatable. You have to like no hit it, but going into the match, Yellow just keeping very, very good accuracy, 99.92. Znow dropping just a bit, might have been at 200 here even, and a ratio drop for sure. 2,000 points towards Yellow, but we'll see if Yellow can keep the consistency and not miss nor calm lock or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So far, that was a very explosive beginning from both players, and throughout the entire ramble we had about Calamity right there, it was literally only kept about 500 points in the favor of Yellow up until some drops came out from Znow. And going into this drop, that's gonna be the back of the map coming in now. Still a lot of anchors to go through, and even then, Znow is dropping a little bit, but both players are still very, very consistent. It's just that one drop for Znow that, when it comes to maps like this, even smaller misjudgments begin to feel like misses with how detrimental they can be when your opponent is just when your opponent just knows how to play this stuff really well.
Yeah. You also have to consider the fact that this is slowly going to be out of Znow's comfort range for ratio. I'm especially talking about the fact that this is technically light jump stream, but it is 275 BPM on OD 8.5, which makes it pretty hard not to drop here, and Znow misses, friends.
No!
And this is pretty much going to be the nail in the coffin here, and Yellow will take this point.
Exactly, pretty much the reversal of what we've seen on EX2, pretty much what Yellow needed, just changing to the initials of the pick alone to be able to bring it in 998k on Rise 2, only 88 perfects to boot, and exactly 1 all tied right now. This is gonna equalize things a little bit once again, and now for the time being, Znow is gonna have to try and pick carefully with this one. I mean, he has the entirety of the hybrids and LNs remaining, so I'd imagine he's probably gonna go into LN1 at one point. What you think?
Yeah, most likely this is gonna be LN1 here. So that this started to also maybe calm down the stamina here. I guess it's gonna be LN4.
Sure.
I would argue LN1 here would be a bit better, since, you know, Yellow, I still do not believe this guy's a real human. His stamina doesn't end, and you know, Znow's stamina does probably, and you know, LN1 is that sort of comfortable thing where it's not really stamina draining. Maybe if you don't like hold a strain a lot, but at the same time he's an LN player. I think he's used to that by far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we definitely can extend that question to whether players are even human when it comes to both these two, because we've seen from Rice maps alone, and that's literally within their comfort zone. Some of the scores that they've set at their absolute prime when it comes to these kinds of maps alone is definitely something that not many other players have reached. I guess like maybe in the 0.00005% of players that we have in this very demographic, but this is LN4 we're talking about. So completely different field that we're going into, and pretty much I feel this pick is very well suited for Znow because this is the LN wildcard that we have the map pool. This is going to feature still some more technical patterns, exactly kind of reminiscent of that of EX2, but way easier and pretty much just about the same length as Rise 2 from earlier.
Yeah, but to note here, on an LN map like this, and Yellow breaks, but on an LN map like this, being 2 minutes long, it is incredibly hard to keep that consistency. And I might have cursed. Damn.
Yeah, Ryan, you were saying that he just didn't keep his consistency.
He didn't keep his consistency. It is pretty hard to do it nonetheless. This is pretty intensive. Also, I do believe some players might have a debuff on this, being traumatized by the OMMT map of this. Which is Hellspawn.
Which edition of OMNT was this in? It wasn't in the edition that I played in for the 4th one, where they allowed people that were not Malaysian to play.
I think it was OMMT3. It was the like split trill map, split trill stamina. Absolute hellspawn of a map. I still cannot play that.
Me neither. Yeah.
No, again with the looking towards NFC. I mean, we were talking about consistency. He's the guy here. But I would also like to point out that yeIo, he recently had a massive skill boost in accuracy because there's no way he missed like 30 million times and still has a 99.26. This must be like amazing ratio in accuracy overall.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it definitely speaks some mediums when you take into consideration that this is not really yeIo's strongest suit either. So even climbing back in accuracy is not going to be enough to really match Znow going into the final remainder of this map. The loose ends of the shoe being tied as it stands, but Znow is really going to come in with yet another nuke of an FC that we have here, nearly 5,000 combo, and sending it off on the final Rice notes. A lot of these technical patterns for Znow when it comes to Lens is really not that tough for him, and we can see from how close these scores are in retrospective, yeIo has the better ratio. Apparently. Okay.
Yeah, and looking at the 200 count, yeIo having 2 more, I would argue that if yeIo didn't have any 50s misses and 100s, this would be pretty much even. If not like a win for Znow by like 100, 200 points. So they were very, very even nonetheless. It's just that Rice players set a curse where you're heading into the harder LN picks, and you have that issue where the consistency to keep there is already pretty hard because it's starting to actually get dense even with the releases. Also, as you get up in difficulty, especially in tournaments that are like +1 or +2, the actual like technicality of that LN, even in a simple density pick, goes up significantly because you cannot just put in a 270 density map, and that all kind of combines into a late game LN, especially this year from the tournaments we've seen, being incredibly hard for even some well-rounded, more Rice-focused players.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, it's been a ongoing trend going into the Big 26, as, you know, it's pretty much going to extend into this turn as well with maps like Aaron Gakuka, which is our Rice free pick. This one's going to be, I believe, the stamina pick. I mean, it's 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Surely this has to be some jump stream stamina because, I mean, well, it's fast. Don't think you would be playing Vibro at this stage.
Well, you never know. The pools this year have been a little surprise and a half.
Indeed. So yeah, that said,
now, you know what? I'm just pulling Arpia's Vibro Anthology for my tourney.
I mean, honestly, at this point, it's you may as well just pull anything. Like, at least that one's like kind of refreshing, as you know. What else is going to be somewhat refreshing is that yeIo has the lead once again on the Rice map. 1,700 points, pretty much the only separator on this is going to have to be coming down to accuracy alone once again, as Znow took a bit of a drop going earlier into the map, but this is also fairly handstream oriented with a lot of kind of straightforward bursts here and there that are very comfortable, but that's exactly what Znow is kind of struggling with as opposed to yeIo, who's winning on the ratio game alone.
Yeah, it's the problem with the transitions here because you get that general very hard handstreamy dense jump. Oh, and Znow misses, and this is like not good for him at all. This might actually be the nail in the coffin, as yeIo is just keeping that stoic accuracy, 99.93, actually heading towards a 998, 997. But yeah, no, the transitions here between the dense jump stream and hand stream into those single stream bursts, absolutely brutal here, as it's a total change of your hand permutation, I would guess, for most people, especially I would argue with top players who will have a little bit of trouble transitioning here. And yeah, no, this pick is just generally very mean in what it does with the patterning.
I mean, that's kind of the expectation of these kinds of picks going into semis and beyond, where, you know, when it becomes difficult, then so does the late game, and the fact this is only semifinals that we're going through is definitely quite the sentiment that's gonna have to be carried a burden by both these players, which yeIo is just simply capitalizing off this with another FC run, looking to try and get yet another run of a very high score line, but as it stands, one miss in the favor of yeIo. Maybe a maybe it can be possible for Znow to claw this back because, again, Znow only took like 2 misses or something going into this map, and pretty much the recovery game's working well. It's just gonna have to require misses from yeIo to at least happen on some more occasions going into the final quarter.
Yeah, this is... I really don't get how these players can even play like this. I mean, yeah, I'm not even... Because the miss that we just seen from yeIo, that doesn't even change anything. This puts into perspective how good his accuracy is on this chart. He has a 99.88 with a miss, and you know, for some reason during the Ki, I don't think I even seen a 300 from him. And that's just very impressive to me, especially that this is grand finals, finals technically. So being able to do something like this on a finals difficulty map is unfair.
Yeah, unfair these days, but that's also kind of the expectation when you have 2 absolute monsters of a Rice player just simply duking it out on maps like this, and it's just really gonna have to come down to the physicality alone, in which so far yeIo's been pretty much capitalizing off of that when it came to the Rice maps alone. I mean, you know, Rice Free is pretty much almost the same as Rice 2, albeit slower and longer, which is pretty much, I guess, what a variety of people would want when it comes to counter picking, but pretty much another pick that's going to work in the favor of yeIo once again. Final few notes are going down, and I can just see the 990k just going up. It's a 994k, yeah.
994, and this was with a combo break. Yeah, no, this is an absolutely crazy score. How? This is 1-20 on this map. It's like comparing the ratio is... Like, I don't even want to say it is, because at this point it's just, oh, the yeIo just straight up disrespected Znow on this pick, and we'll see if Znow can pick an end pick maybe and gain back the point.
Yeah. Hybrid Free, gonna be the next pick. I do feel like the main difficulty coming from both players is that this is a fairly discomforting pick, so that's only going to add to the difficulty of the map itself, and the fact that yeIo even still managed to capitalize off of the parents' raw discomfort is definitely something that you got to take into when you're doing your homework against this player. You do not want to pick any Rice map against this person because that's how you know it's going to go down. I mean, Hybrid Free, hopefully going to be yet another attempt for Znow to be able to climb a point back. And, you know, as we've been seeing from his performances in anything outside the Rice category, been looking very positive overall. It's just that he's going to have to try and, you know, compound thingies to be able to try and get some more points of his own. And Hybrid Free pretty much going to try and be the continuer of that alone.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a game of trade pick by pick. yeIo today showed us that on Rice, he's just a machine that is practically unbeatable for Znow, and Znow FC'd everything. He just FCs things, I guess. I mean, in the LN category, of course. We'll see if he can...
Yeah.
If he can deal with the tech hybrid here.
I mean, based off the LN performances alone, I definitely would imagine Znow should have a good shot with this one as well. Yes, this one's pretty much projected to be less conventional by all means, as opposed to, you know, maps like Easy Breezy, for example. But at the same time, you can see that the OD on this one is severely kind of nerfed as opposed to some of these other LN maps that we've been having. And especially with how it's also long as well, this is gonna pretty much pack another punch to the nose if Znow doesn't end up doing well with this pick. But as it stands, 500 points is what separates these two going past the first quarter.
Yeah, for now it is being pretty even. Znow with that little bit of just raw accuracy lead, but we have now reached the Ki section, and now that it is approaching, we'll kind of see what will really happen here. Also, I'd like to know that this pick is on a little bit of a longer side, all things considered, being 3 minutes 30 seconds, and that sort of, I feel like that's just better for Znow, as he did show a lot of consistency today on these sort of patterns. I'm just kind of worried that he might trip up on the Rice just a little bit, like we just saw with that 200 on the long jack. Oh, never mind, yellow missed. Oops.
I mean, honestly, pretty much one of the few things that Znow would have been banking on with this pick, because there's a lot of parents that are really hard to hit, but it also bites back at him as well. Some of these treacherous hands just do not really treat Znow fairly at all, as much as he thought that he was getting away with it against yeIo, but now it's tied once again, and the difference is back to being neutralized, only just under 100 points, and now pushing 300, 400 or something, going off some mischarges from Znow. It's not looking so confident, but another drop from yeIo is to boot.
What is happening here? Absolutely crazy stuff, but Znow right now, with the combo cap bonus being maxed out at 400 combo, yeIo just getting there, but Znow breaks.
What?
I guess.
I guess.
All of them break. Everyone breaks today. 2,000 points lead still for Znow, as they are pretty much equal in combos. I do believe they sort of did a little matching profile picture miss here. And yeah, it's not looking good for yeIo, but Znow has to keep accuracy, as yeIo is technically in a better spot in terms of raw accuracy here.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be one thing that Znow's going to have to be really careful of, because this law section is very, very easy to choke on. If Znow ends up missing here, then it's basically over. They need to at least try and hold on for as much as they can. But yeIo is going to miss. It pretty much is going to seal the nail in the coffin with a miss at the very final note. Inconsequential as is, as a 974k.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Help. What is happening in this match? This is absolutely one of the most hyped matches we've had in a while, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you have some good players playing in this tournament. When they face in the late game, you're gonna get some good matches in return. So, pretty much just down to fair trades and all that in exchange.
Yeah, I mean, this right now being yeIo's pick, I do sort of believe that the RC5 pick, this will go towards yeIo once again. So I don't know, you know, right now we're sort of holding that tiebreaker pace here, and they're just fully trading and trading.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much also expected when it comes to a lot of these maps being more on the technical side, in which the fact that yeIo's been matching Znow on the likes of Hybrid Free is definitely going to at least prove something, or is going to at least give us some intel that yeIo can definitely match Znow when it comes to the hybrids. Like, especially if it does come down to exhausting that Rise category alone, I definitely would imagine they probably could just wheel into something like Hybrid 1 or Hybrid 2 maybe, to see whether they are still comfortable on those picks. But Drunpla is going to be the next pick, and yeah, expected. This is a very yeIo pick, if I had to even bring that up, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this is this pick in particular is extremely abrasive, short, and just sort of built for yeIo to succeed here. I don't have a lot of confidence that Znow could pull this pick off, but if he does, this might be very, very bad for yeIo, as losing any pick of your category, technically, in a matchup like this, is just catastrophic. You have to make it back somehow, and yeah, Znow breaking a little bit of accuracy, actually giving yeIo the 1,500 point lead, but we'll see what happens next, as this map doesn't really stop surprising players with those abrasive bursts and just a lot of technicality in general.
What you see is what you get with this map alone, and just going through a lot of these really jank parents. That's exactly what's throwing Znow off with some more drops. Even if it doesn't come down to breaking the combo just yet, it's pretty much what is hindering Znow from being able to take this one when it comes to the accuracy game, which yeIo is just literally using this as another signal to make sure that they get through. A lot of these bursts are literally no match for yeIo, as that's going to throw Znow off once again. These bursts are just so uncomfortable that Znow is deliberately struggling to be able to keep his combo there.
Oh man, that Znow break was actually the nail in the coffin here. I mean, I do think it is safe to say that yeIo will get this pick unless his keyboard flies away, because this guy on picks like this is just sort of unbeatable. There's a very low amount of still active tournament players that could beat him on this sort of pick.
Yeah, exactly. Yellow at this point may as well just be omnipotent when it comes to these kinds of technical picks, which are just so... Like, I even feel my hairs literally pointing in the opposite direction just looking at some of these patterns. These are genuinely so disgusting to even look at, and somehow Yellow's just playing and getting, what, a casual 995k on this, as there's only a complete half of ratio on the favors Yellow to be able to get yet another point and equalize things once more.
Yeah, he assessed this, by the way. How?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just Yellow.
I look at players like him and I wonder, what in my 10-year Mania career did I do wrong that I'm still hard stuck pre-Delta? And this guy
honestly,
can just do this on a random Sunday.
Exactly.
I mean, it is Saturday today, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. I genuinely have the same exact sentiment as well. I've been in this game for like, what? Like, almost 10 years as well? I mean, I joined like 7 years ago, but even now I've literally like lost all my skill, as pretty much at this point, both players are going to need their skill going into LN1, as Znow's going to be opted in for the coordination pick. Pretty much, yet another recognizable pick. It's Castella's Yuchotin Vivace, or at least it's an edited version, but this one is going to be pretty tough for both players. I mean, this is a coordination map. That pretty much goes without saying if you are at least a little acquainted with Castella's style of coordination maps overall.
Castella equals kind of unplayable chord for people that are not incredibly crazy.
Yeah. Precisely that, as I've seen this map being used in some tournament warm-ups as well in the past, and I remember the map itself was so difficult. Putting this on 1.5 to be able to fit the difficulty of this round alone is exactly what Znow's going to need. They want to be able to try and buffer some of these other picks, and this is yet another pick that he's going to have to use to his advantage, because so far it's been trays left and right. There's pretty much not been a single map where one player has just managed to get a breakpoint to be able to break a tie that's been ongoing throughout, what, the past 6 maps we've seen? And so far, it's only separated by 500 going into the first half, going past the first quarter.
Yeah, although this pick in specific, I do believe it will kind of go like this, where it will be relatively even. But right now, I am a little sniffer dog, and I do smell a break from Yellow here, as this map is very consistency biased. This is coordination that is, you know, fast to the point where it sort of just becomes more like an LN consistency challenge more than coordination by itself. And Znow today on the LN showed an immense amount of consistency.
Exactly, you were spelling right with that analogy, as Yellow did seem a little rocky when it came to that drop earlier on, going to try and going to be pretty much going to struggle with a lot of these anchors and a lot of these patterns that you just have, a lot of these sweeps that we have in the LNs, and now, because of some of these breaks from Yellow, that's not really led to a full combo break at this point. It's going to be in the favor of Znow by 2,000 points, and even when both players are on an FC run, it's going to matter less, as, well, I mean, now it matters a lot now for Znow because Yellow's just dropped. He has to keep this up now.
FC run, huh? Both.
Yup. Only one remains at the moment. Yellow passed the combo cap, but there's only a quarter map left. It's going to require Znow to drop as well, maybe 2 at that.
Yeah, no, incredible performance from Znow, but Yellow holding pretty good nonetheless. I don't even think it was a miss. I mean, it was more like a kind of dirty break, like a 50, maybe 100. But as we're going into second KI, which I think is the densest part of the map, actually, all things considered, I wonder if Znow will be able to keep this FC, but even if, I'm struggling to think if Znow... Okay, never mind. Erase that sentence. Yellow breaks again, and 10,000 point lead. 10,000 point lead for 12,000 point lead for Znow. It is not looking that good for Yellow.
It is far from looking good at the moment for Yellow. Another point for Znow, and pretty much going to objectify it when it really matters most, another one comes out from yellow, pretty much going to seal it for this pick. Znow not going to allow yellow to be able to take it. It was looking very, very nip and tuck throughout that first third of the map, but unfortunately the consistency really started to dig in the nails of yellow at that point, and now it's pretty much a separator of 16,000 points, 4-3 in the favor of Znow for the time being. But at the same time, there is still a lot of comfortable picks remaining for both players on the board.
For sure. I would do also want to point out one specific thing here. We've seen so far yellow being not really consistent Ellen combo today, but we have seen amazing ratio. And here, even though his ratio is still very, very good for this type of map, Znow absolutely popped off. This ratio for this set of map is actually incredible.
Yeah, precisely. It's pretty much one of those picks where you see, like, you know, pretty much for Znow, he wants to ensure that he can get as far into the match as he can, which, you know, when if not Rice, and he has to exploit something that's at least at his disposal, but so will yellow with EX1. The glorious world is an absolute goal of a Rice map. Are we seriously seeing a 6.9 star Rice map in semifinals?
Is it?
Dude, no way.
Because I'm thinking, right? When you don't, the Rice has very low inflation patterns, right? I'm thinking
exactly.
if this is a tournament pick, 6.9 stars are usually Delta.
Yeah. There's no way it's in this match. That's like very, very early for that. And 5 as well in length. Oh, dude. I'm worried what this pick's gonna entail. I mean, maybe it can work for yellow, but there's no way if it's actually what I'm thinking.
I did not see this pick, but looking by the pure star rating and what I've seen from other maps, this might be around Delta level, and if it is, Znow will struggle here way more than yellow for sure. But we don't know, it may be just inflated from like some streams or something. Stuff like that happens.
I mean, it's probably gonna have to take maybe a few false jump trolls to be able to bring it up this high, but as it currently stands, there is a lot of bursts that we have coming from both players, and, you know, going to this triplet core jack section, pretty much everyone is playing this one with ease. It's only really just minuscule yellow 300s coming out from either side, from yellow, from Znow. Pretty much no one has an advantage on this at the time being. Smallest biases now in the favor of Znow, going off maybe a few 300s, but even then, the anchor control on this section is simply really gnarly, yet Znow is just hanging on for dear life with that score lead at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this Jack section in particular is pretty mean in the fact that it is 160 base BPM, which is in the comfort zone of these players for sure. What is the biggest problem was that transition from that kind of light jack to mid jack to even like dense jack in some sections. Those transitions might confuse you just a little bit with the amount of anchor usage here.
Yeah, precisely. It's pretty much one of those maps where it's like, you need to really carry your momentum going into some of these denser sections, because otherwise, if you don't manage to do that in due time, then it's going to be really punishing, as it's exactly what's going to hit Znow right in the back going into this next section. Some staircases, that one-hand trill as well. It's going to have to come down to the recovery game for Znow to be able to try and bring it back, because yellow is still on an FC run going past the first third, but there's still a lot of time in the map. It may as well just feel indefinite at this point for Znow to have any opportunity to take this back if it does come down to at least maybe a miss or two from yellow.
Yeah, I mean, Znow really has to pray here for the Rice consistency of yellow to kind of sort of fail him here, because looking at usual yellow performances when it comes to ratio, especially on harder maps like this, they may be approaching Delta. I don't know, yeah, I'm kind of trying to still analyze the map. But usually he is very consistent, but, you know, something kind of fluky might happen here, and Znow might still be able to recover, as his AC is not that bad for now. I do believe if yellow does like a little bit of a dirtier miss, then Znow can perfectly recover this.
Yeah, precisely. Even 99.60% is genuinely such a good score on a map like that's literally at this difficulty, but another miss from Znow to boot again. going to really objectify the scoreline for yellow once again. Final third, and somehow yellow is still on an FC pace. First of all, what are you doing, Mr. Yellow? What even is that score you're setting right now with an FC run going into the literal Rise boss pick, which, okay. All right, bye-bye. I can't deal with this anymore. How?
I don't know. For some reason, whenever I commentate hype matches like this, it is always me and the second caster having like the worst curses ever. And once again it happens, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe that's just my sign to stop going into monologues when it comes to talking about players as efforts, because somehow it just really bites me and the player in the back. But even then, that miss from yellow wasn't really consequential enough to bring it back into favor as no for the time being. I mean, the accuracy difference is pretty much night and day at this point. It's just really far off by about 0.50%, and that's exactly what's going to make this a really hard uphill climb for Znow when it comes to trying to match yellow in terms of physicality here.
I mean, look, even if the map isn't technically like, you know, around the Delta Rice level, it might be a little bit lower, like pre maybe. Still though, you have to remember, yellow in raw Rice is way better than Znow is. And this is pretty important here, as yellow just has that better ability to sort of, you know, keep combo on this thing just because he's that level higher. I do believe that just gave him a big loss, as Znow was struggling just a bit more and just keeping the consistency here, as these patterns kind of overwhelmed him at some points. You can see it in the error bar. I do believe that it was going significantly to the right side, meaning he was a little too slow. And you know what? I don't. Oh,
Jesus.
That was like
Okay.
0.2 of the star rating.
Yeah, but that was like also these earlier section from the map where, you know, it had all the hand streams and also just a lot of these genuinely this brutal parenting. It's like, I guess I can see where the star rating comes from, but I saw that Znow was literally collapsing on that as well, which I guess at this point, pretty much the reciprocation of AX2, the reflection of that, as Hybrid 2 will be the next pick from Znow, equalize once again, and at this point, there's literally been 0 breakpoints whatsoever from either side. Literally everyone's been winning off their own pick, and at this point, very easily could go into tiebreaker if this does continue for the next 4 maps, because we're reaching the end of the map pool already. We're exhausting a lot of these maps, and somehow Znow is just gonna have to try and keep his momentum with Hybrid 2. Otherwise, yellow could definitely take this if he isn't too careful, I want to say.
You know what I'm worried for though? We saw an incredible performance on Hybrid 3 from yellow. It was very close. And a Jack hybrid, I don't know, because yellow did perform very well. Maybe after sort of this more bursty, full Rice, big push pick, then it will be a little harder maybe for him to keep consistency on that Jack hybrid pick. Although his last kind of more shieldy, actually, the hybrid tech that they just played does tell me that yellow can absolutely take this point if anything. But we'll just see if he can keep the consistency for it, because he had that back, I do believe.
Yeah, I definitely feel that I share the same worry when it comes to this, because we've seen from Hybrid 3 alone that it was very equal between both players. I mean, there was very equal chokes. We even had a trade miss at the very same millisecond of the map as well. This is a lot shorter as well, so mistakes are going to be amplified a lot further than it was over in Hybrid 3. And I guess with Znow, this is also another strategic pick, because they want to be able to buffer the remainder of the LNs that are open for grabs, so that they can utilize that for when it comes to the absolute late game in this match, which we are already approaching as is. We still have yet to see someone with a good advantage going into this one, but maybe Hybrid 2 could be what brings us that.
Yeah, this is like the only pick which I realistically see yellow being able to, you know, take this point without like a very huge fluke, you know what I mean? This is like his sort of one chance for the breakpoint, and I do want to see if it actually happens. Although, I mean, Znow today once again an absolutely amazing run when it comes to not missing on a land. So we'll see if he can sort of carry this over to this Jack hybrid, which all things considered, it being 6.3 stars, I do believe it will have some hard rise too. And Yellow just absolutely, ooh, that was ooh, all I can say. Right now 7,000 point lead for Znow. That was a very dirty break from Yellow. Yellow recovering combo cap, but that doesn't really mean anything, as right now Znow is still holding that 6,000 points, so if he doesn't miss, it's just kind of over.
Yeah, precisely. Znow coming in with some hooks and some jabs of his own, and exactly that's what's going to really throw Yellow behind by quite a bit. It's such a shallow sighting that Yellow is not being able to perform as well in this one as we have seen on Hybrid 3. But again, like, this one is a lot less technical and pretty much tests, like, you know, consistency more to conventional regard. And that's exactly what's propelling Znow to be able to shine their efforts a little more. There's a lot of the shields that you need to look out for. And going into this next section, Rissus is yet another mapper that I know is very well capable of making math like this. This one feeling very similar, at least in my eyes, to their Mononoke map, which has been used in countless turns in the past. This one is literally showing within the comfort zone of Znow, and, you know, 8,000 points is definitely what they're going to need. Hopefully, if it does come down to all things considered, Znow can definitely take this one. But if it does come down to misses, then Yellow's going to need one as soon as possible. But that's a little bit of a drop that I've seen from Znow there.
Can anything change here? Can Znow miss on the last final notes and possibly give Yellow the point? But I do not think so. And yes, this will go towards Znow, an absolute beast of a score, 988. But Yellow, holy ratio. Wow. Okay, yeah, no. That is some top level ratios. Znow may be here playing more towards that combo gaming side than fully, you know, focusing on the ratio aspect. But taking that pick, and now it's gonna be Yellow's pick. We'll see what he picks next in order to sort of go into securing that tiebreaker, as if he wins his next point, they will just need 1 point by themselves, one for Znow, one for Yellow, in order to secure the tiebreaker.
Precisely. Even now, Znow is literally so nervous looking at Yellow's scores because of the ratio difference and just how the grades are kept so tied together. But it's really just the difference of these drops alone that really separate the two in general. Like, it's just crazy. Rise 7. Ain't no way. Alright. Sure.
Little evening jump scare. Those evening usually maps things that are absolutely, like, I guess kind of a little bit aids in all things considered when it comes to patterning. Very choky stuff. Znow might struggle on it just a bit, as we've seen him on, for example, the EX1, which, I mean, you know, was very physical. But on the burst, he was struggling just a little bit more, so we'll see if that can sort of go along to this pick too.
Yeah, I mean, alluding to your point with this map alone, I mean, this is a map that I think pretty much everyone's well familiar with, just because of how it's very dense as to how it addresses a lot of these tech-up-oriented rice patterns. And, you know, to your point with 8 parenting, that's exactly what Yellow's trying to bank on when it comes to rice maps. I mean, you know, it's at their disposal, free real estate. They may as well just make do of what they can, because, you know, literally at this point you can't really just say that one strat is just another one's treasure, because of the fact that you only get to really pick so much in this matchup alone, and Yellow needs to win 3 points if they want to try and secure things early on. Going into the first drop, these bursts are a lot lighter than we've seen in that one Scream section. I mean, everyone knows what the song is. I don't even need to talk about it.
I guess you don't, but going maybe into the analyticals of things, Yellow does not seem to be struggling at all with ratioing this map, which is pretty concerning. This guy's like a monster. This map has such uncomfortable sort of bursts, and the rhythm itself is just, it's kind of killer. And I don't know how he's not struggling, but no, not very far behind. Only 600 points of lead for Yellow. So there's like a cheeky miss from Yellow here. What do you know? Maybe a win for Znow. I Do believe it is a little too early to say though, but both players doing absolutely fine on this map. It's just kind of a matter of, I guess, who breaks or who breaks their accuracy just a bit more, as yeIo would technically need to have a 200 or 2 right now to give Znow the lead without any breaks.
Precisely, and even then, there's still a lot of intrusive patterns as we could see throughout this map going into the drop. This is going to introduce some more core jacks, some more split trails introduced with some of these dense bursts as well. This is very thick to play, really hard on the keyboard as well with all how the jacks are dressed, and yet yeIo is just out here playing out of his mind, ratioing everything as well as no, not too far behind either, but it's really just some of these minuscule misjudgments that are setting two apart. Now the difference has been made 0.06%, 0.09% now of a difference as it stands, and going off some more drops from Znow, it's looking like a yeIo victory, but this can very easily switch if it does come down to a miss. They just need to hang on to the FC going into the ending. Final few seconds, yeIo has pretty much done it. Final few jacks.
Oh my god.
How?
I don't know.
What?
Remember, I just have to say it to the people once again. This guy 1-20'd a map that has 174 burst jack in abrasive dump. How? Just this map is pretty much impossible to do a score like that on. Just 996'd it randomly. I guess he is just a beast of his own. I do not. There's very low players that you could compare to yeIo with the rice accuracy and the rice consistency. Absolutely crazy player, but will Znow be able to win? But is it gonna be Allen Density? Gonna be able to win Allen Density, and can he secure him? Not this song. Oh, PTSD.
PTSD indeed. Pretty much a map that feels like it's been everywhere in terms at this point. I mean, another thing I'd like to mention about Rise 7, as we've seen earlier for Shino Hazama, is that both players literally both yeIo and Znow here had gone a V1 double S, albeit it was really just down to the ratio game. The fact that we somehow have good scores in that just feels like a massive disservice to Znow just doing everything he could to be able to get a V1 double S, only to be sat down by that 180 perfect run in the map. I mean, I guess for Znow, hopefully this is gonna go differently, because this is more within his comfort when it comes to trying to exploit yeIo's Ellen capabilities. But now is down to the final ever picks that both these players are going to be making, and again, I believe this is down in the losers bracket as well, so things are going to be looking so much denser for... Oh wait, no, this is winners bracket. Okay, sorry, I'm stupid. My bad.
Yeah, it is winners. You know, seeing these guys in the losers bracket, it's sort of impossible. I don't know, but we're starting off actually yeIo out ratioing. I guess.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Okay, he's no longer out ratioing.
Well, he's out ratioing, he's just not out comboing.
Yeah, exactly.
My bad.
It's okay. We've been there. I've been there with that wall. With EX1, so going off that combo break, Znow will get to breathe for a little bit. 2,200 points for the time being, and this is also a really short map as well. Really short is literally a descriptor that undersells how long this pick is, because this is, what, 5 seconds shy of 3 minutes, and yet somehow still enough length for either player to be able to get exploited a little bit. But even then, Znow is doing what they can to be able to take this one, but they're dropping its score a little bit from what it looks like.
That miss for yeIo, even though, you know, technically was pretty monumental, was early, and this map is, I would argue, on the longer side, as it is nearly 3 minutes long, and yeIo is out ratioing like crazy, and I think Znow is just going the combo gaming route, as he doesn't really want to, you know, have a break, because yeIo has good ratio in general. He just kind of wants to go towards that FC, and I would argue this is an absolutely very good strategy against yeIo's Allen, but we'll see if he can do something here. I mean, yeIo is still in that very good accuracy position. So 2,600 points can just go straight from Znow, breaking his accuracy just a bit. But will he, in the second KI, which is arguably a little harder, it is way more technical, and we'll see if anything can change here. I mean, Yellow back again to like 3.8 thousand combo. Map itself being 231 BPM, so absolutely crazy fast density for semifinals. But we'll see if anything can change here.
I guess anything did change there, didn't it? A miss from Yellow to boot once again, going to the final minute of the song, and now 6,000 points is in the favor of Znow for the time being. This is a map that should be comfortable. It is literally the most bearable as you can go into density as you would expect from yeIo, but Znow is literally making do with that, literally harvesting every single crop they can in this very farm, and even all these trills are no match for Znow at the moment. Another miss comes out from Yellow, and that's exactly what's going to solidify this one match point for Znow.
Yeah, I mean, it is match point for Znow, but now we get the scary rice pick, and my prediction here, I mean, I don't want to curse people again, but it might be a tiebreaker. It probably is a tiebreaker. There's like 99% chance that it's going to be tiebreaker. Will be very interesting to see that, but what will Yellow pick? I don't know what the
Rice
last
4.
pick. Oh, it's only Rice 4. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't know which rice was picked, which isn't. I didn't really pay attention.
Honestly, that's fair enough. There's like way too many rice picks to be able to keep track of anyways. It's like, you know, at this point, we've had a really common trend of just cursing what gets picked in the matches. And, you know, Rice 4 being one of the final remaining picks on the board when it comes to the rice category. It was between that or Rice 6. But Yellow, at this point, just really wants to get it done and over with. Their only option now is to force a tiebreaker if they want to be able to try and stay in the winner's bracket. But as it currently stands, things are looking a little tight right here for both players. Final map to be shown. It's unfinished business on 1.2. Yellow still have some business that they need to attend to. This is going to have to be one of the first picks that they have to do to be able to try and kickstart something inside of them to be able to make it into that tiebreaker.
Yeah, and we are seeing a DZ map, which is Wait, that wasn't Bancho.
Wait, was it not? What?
That wasn't Bancho.
What? Huh? What? Wait, you're kidding? No.
It would have been fixed by now, if anything. So yeah, it wasn't Bancho. It was just a random tongue miss.
Okay, no, Yellow's gonna have to really hyperfixate on the ratio to be able to get something out of this one, because the issue is that taking very, very early drops on Korjak picks like this is so bare bones when it comes to how the anchors are managed. A lot of triple anchors that you have here and there. If Yellow really wants to be able to try and overtake Znow on this, they're gonna have to win by so much on the ratio, because that miss is going to really plummet their score down into, I guess, the 6th circle of hell.
Yeah, especially that, you know, this is a Jack pick, and 1,100 points here is like, not continuing my sentence. I don't care anymore. I will speak I will speak in one word of phrases. I cannot speak for more than 10 seconds without something changing.
Are you gonna like commentate like most Psycho commentators now or something? What's happening?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Nah, but Yellow is kind of regaining.
All right.
Yellow is kind of regaining that lead for him, and can Znow keep up his accuracy and still win this pick, even with the Yellow miss? Or will he maybe miss somewhere along the way? I mean, Znow did drop a fair bit of accuracy, and Yellow just seems to only be gaining. So here, this will be pretty interesting who wins. I mean, Yellow right now is on like a around 400 point lead, considering Bancho lag. Oh, now more. Ooh.
Okay, it's really come down to the ratio right now. Znow is dropping some greats. He's actually dropping. Yellow has brought the lead back after how long now? Almost 2.5 minutes? This is literally the final stretch of the map, and I think the difficulty is done just like that. He's gonna have to win off these final notes alone, but as it stands, it's a fairly comfortable lead, and the fact that even just under 5,000 points is comfortable is genuinely so disrespectful.
You know what? If it wasn't near 11 p.m., I would have jumped up like a little girl in excitement. What is this score? 1-2-25, and we get the crazy only one miss play here that is still incredible. Znow with the FC, but the ratio difference and the 500s and 100s did the work, and we are officially seeing, I think this is gonna be the most, if not, I guess one of the most hyped tiebreakers in this tournament for sure.
Semi-finals, and it's a tiebreaker over in the winners bracket between two players that have literally been so equal with each other. I do wonder how exactly yeIo is going to be faring on the tiebreaker itself, because I feel like, for as it stands, we've seen Znow capitalizing off everything that wasn't a Rice pick. So I have a feeling that for yeIo in particular, it's going to be a bit of an uphill climb. They want to be able to try and take this because of how this one is oriented more in hybrids and not really as much on the Rice. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a map like this, when it comes to like the overall, I guess, the structure of it, I guess might be more LAN focused. But it is one thing to know, for a tiebreaker, that it should technically be finals difficulty, we are seeing a pretty low star rating. So this makes me think that the LAN patterns might be pretty straightforward, and the Rice, you know, can be sort of hidden in that LAN. The Rice difficulty also 7 minutes long. This is like a marathon and a half, so they will have to prepare quite a bit for the sheer stamina to have to play this kind of pick.
Only one way to find out. This is a 7-minute and 15-second gauntlet that we're treading upon here. Definitely one that most players would recognize. I mean, what? You've seen Flavy's map. I'm pretty sure everyone besides from myself has already played that. And, you know, going into this introductory section, that was an early great from yeIo. That's going to already put a bit of a damper in the score differential. But even then, so far, it is just an early beginning once again. Some more staggered releases, and that's exactly what's going to challenge both these players to start things off when it comes to trying to take the nerves out. But you have this intro section that's definitely going to put a damper if you aren't too careful with it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, all we can really do is kind of be philosophers over here, because once we get into the first key, then we'll maybe see how the tiebreaker is gonna is basically gonna happen here. We have to remember, on a pick that is 7 minutes.
Oh my days, yeIo, what are you doing?
I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Ah! Okay, there's no miss as well as it stands, but even then, the misses that yeIo's been taking have been a lot more consecutive and a lot dirtier as results. So Znow gonna be going off with a lead of their own going to this section. Pretty much a very comfortable lead, going off another double shot to the chest that yeIo is taking once again. Things are slowly closing out for yeIo, and we're not even past the first quarter yet. This is honestly such an unsightly thing to see.
Yeah, I you know what, the point before he started just absolutely bombarding his britches on this song was the fact that this being 7 minutes long doesn't punish misses that much. But no, when it's like 7 misses, it starts, you know, being a little harder to sort of recover from that. And he's just on a roll today. I guess we're just on a roll. We're breaking. That's what we want to do. We want to be the best Rice player and then break on a 6-star TB.
Yeah.
Nah, because I'm mad at him, because he's my buddy and he's trolling right now.
How are we even able to sense that this guy's trolling? I just don't get it. Like, to me, like, this seems like normal play, right?
No, I mean, like, trolling in a sense that he's trolling this tiebreaker, like, for himself, you know? He's just not playing like he should, you know what I mean? I'm just expecting more from him.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I didn't really mean, like, trolling that he's actually, you know, like, for fun throwing it. It more meant it so, like, yeah, no, he should have performed way better, but you know what? There's no breaking again. This is sort of becoming closer and closer. I mean, 10,000 point lead now. We'll see if maybe this is the clutch miss yeIo needed here, as he does have the combo advantage now.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna have to come down to a variety of these rice-oriented sections that Yellow's gonna have to try and at least do what they can with, because again, there isn't really much resources that Yellow has to work with when it comes to anything that's within their comfort range. We've seen it again, time and time again, LNs and hybrids. As much as Yellow has the ratio advantage of them, it's just the consistency that really wavers on them, and it's exactly the one thing that's Znow, even when they are behind by the ratio, is just the consistency alone. Another miss from Yellow to come about once again, and that's going to nullify that drop that Znow took earlier on. Back after the chart is a go, and even then, there's still a lot of gnarly lands that we're going through right now. A lot of reverse shields, a lot of jacks as well are just literally going to show that Znow just knows what he's doing on this one, and it's literally so upsetting that Yellow is struggling to be able to bring it all together, you know, man?
Yeah, no, he's just struggling to keep that combo for at least, like, you know, I'm gonna say a rough estimate, like 1,000 combo here, right? He's having trouble keeping that, and with that, I would also like to point out he misses on the LN sections, which may not seem that tragic, except when you miss on an LN section, you might get lost. Do more 200s, 50s, 100. Oh, that's what yeah.
What?
I might be Mother Teresa. Or like Wróżbita Maciej, Polska Góra. Whoever did. I predicted it again. Okay, again.
Another one. Okay, at least this section is like very rice oriented, so maybe there's an opportunity for Znow to choke. But if it does come down to Yellow choking way too many times on this, like what, they just swallowed a fork or something, then at this point it's just going to decrease the likelihood of Yellow being able to take this, because Znow has just been proven to be the ultimately more all-rounded player with a lot of these maps we've seen, and even this map as well, being the gauntlet that it is, it's just nowhere near easy. But because Znow has the capabilities to play and just combo through a lot of the LNs and hybrid sections, it's just this section gonna have to be the perpetrator. Yellow, unfortunately, is just struggling to do what they can. Too many misses to boot. Now it just requires Znow to literally just let go of the keyboard.
But as I said already, he was, I think, purposefully warming up his TB before match. His TB skills, and I think it did pay off here, as the 20,000 point lead in yearly might be a little bit hard to break for Yellow, but you know, he does still have like 2 minutes, 1.5,
yeah,
somewhere around that of time, so maybe Znow has like a catastrophic fail over here.
I think it's gonna have to come down to what this final section of the map is gonna boil down to, but as it stands, it looks like it's gonna be LN coordination. Okay, so if Yellow can hang on to the ratio, they could get something, but it requires Znow to miss. But we've seen Znow time and time again on LNs, and at this point, this literally feels like the worst section you could bargain for at the very end. This is where I imagine the nerves would genuinely explode for everyone, and at this point, Znow is just cloud nine when it comes to this map alone. At this point, may as well just be a victory for him. The final 100,000 of score is a go, and at this point, Znow is going to be your hero for tomorrow, going to make it out with a 20,000 score differential to punch his ticket forward into the finals weekend winners bracket.
Holy, okay, well, I do not have words for this, but I will try to formulate a sentence while these LNs are going, so please wait, be patient. Okay.
There we go. Finally.
This match was incredible. Actually, Yellow out-ratioing too, this is a thing to note here, but the 16 misses, absolutely crazy difference in the breaks overall. But yeah, what I did want to say is this match has been incredible. I think it will be the most hype CYC match, if not the second most hype. We don't know how grand finals will go, but this was an absolutely stacked lineup with a pretty stacked, very, very hard map pool, and players actually going to tiebreaker and Znow winning it, advancing to the winner's bracket. As for Yellow, he still has a very, very decent chance of making it to grand finals, as he is getting knocked down to losers for finals, but in the losers bracket, he might be an absolute demon, right? Especially if
Yeah.
he is gonna be against a Rice player, I feel like, because he showed today that his LN is amazing still, and his Rice skills are just unbeatable. So if he gets put up against a Rice main, it might be grim for the other person.
Precisely. I mean, at least for Znow, they pretty much will be going into. They're pretty much a guaranteed top 3 going into this tournament, as you know, they're gonna have to be faced between SDKL or Angela over in the finals winners. Whereas for yeIo, they want to be able to make it to the podium. They're gonna have to face between Vayne, Anthony, or Newson in the losers in you know, finals, and then also the conditionals, potentially Oyama, Mahiro, Miniac, and J-Lice. So a lot of players, a lot of homework to be done. There is just so much that either player is gonna have to look out for, but Znow can rest knowing he's pretty much gone podium. Although whether they can get top 2 is definitely gonna be the next question that he will have to face in this one, I want to say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this tournament overall maybe did not have such a stacked lineup in the beginning. There wasn't as many, you know, like very high profile players overall joining this tournament, but the sort of little cluster of them that did join are absolute beasts, and all of them here are sort of left, maybe missing like Manuelchi and Machalare. Yeah, but they are all sort of clumped up here, and every match here from this point on is going to be an absolute challenge for both of the players, as we're sort of getting into that moment where everyone just 995s everything. So you know, they're so good that it's just no one match is really biased towards one side. But with that, I think we can end this stream. This was me, Alice, alongside Epic Man 2, and we'll see you guys in finals, or tomorrow maybe.
Yeah, tomorrow there's 2 matches scheduled for that. So yeah, once again, this has been Epic Man 2 joined by Alice. We'll catch you in a jiffy. Be there, be square for the next matches, and thanks for watching this one. It was a good one. Bye bye.